let me know whether you're able to solve anything. But anyway, welcome to coverage of DTF1 Tier 2. Saturday nights are alright for racing. So good to be back, actually. It feels like I've not done commentary for, I think it's maybe even 4 or 5 weeks. I know I did the USA Short, and then I missed Britain Short before that, but USA Short was a bit of a disaster with the red flag, so it feels like I've not commentated really on a proper race. We weren't really able to get going with that one, so but 17 drivers in this Tier 2 contest. Japan, in my opinion, the most punishing, toughest, hardest track to drive on the calendar. So I'm really interested to see how these drivers will approach 27 laps of hell, quite possibly. Mr. Lobster, the first driver out. Oh, and he's spun it out of the S's here. No damage though, which is the important thing. The Tier 3 commentator. Very good commentary once again from my commentary colleague. Yesterday, very humorous, but also very good calls and enjoyable action as he enters the hairpin here. More drivers out on track now. For once, well, we've not had no Jones gang today, actually. I think Japella's reserving for him, and Goose Slayer wasn't the first one out. Lobster gets that award for today's affair. It's Lobster heading towards his lap. I don't know if he always has that helmet, but a white and red one possibly, as a sign of respect to the great nation of Japan. And he will be the first one to tackle this hellish, this tough racing track. Second corner here, you have to manage the gears through the S's, and if you go offline you will be punished. He manages to keep it relatively on the racing line, looking alright for Sox. He'll have to avoid what he did on the outlap here. He's had a look in already, manages to do that. Looking good in this first sector. Degner 1, how aggressive are you going to be? Swings it in. Degner 2, doesn't take as much as the exit as maybe we'd like to see. And the hairpin here, shifting low. This one always a little bit tricky on traction on the exit. Maybe could have used the full width of the track on exit there. And now, it's not a knife, it's not a fork, it's a spoon. Spoon curve here. Turn 13 and turn 14. A little bit out of shape mid-corner might hurt him. He might pick up quite a nice toe if the car in front gives it to him. But I think the Racing Point ahead has decided to bolt. He might still get one though. 130R. Oh, and what's he doing there? Oh, he'll be in trouble for that. That seemed a little bit oblivious, let's say. Lobster will not be pleased with that. Definitely cost him time. That Racing Point lingering on the racing line. Volt invalidates. Who's on a lap? Is Goose Slayer on a lap? He is. 126.9, the first driver to hit the 26s. What can Bad Bunny do? 4/10 off his teammates, and Bad Bunny moving to the Williams team, and I think that's quite a strong driver pair in there. Oh, is he? No worries. Yeah. Yeah, let me know if anything happens. Oh, yeah, Lobster loses it again here. Gary P5, he knows he can do better than that. in the Ferrari. Elusive, we actually missed Elusive. Pole provision... I've not done this for a few weeks. Provisional pole position for Elusive Ice. 0.3 of a second quicker than Gooseslayer. Based on Tier 3, we do fully expect the pole time to be in the low 1:26s. I think pole yesterday was a 1:26.2 by Volt Elite. He invalidated his first run, but I fully expect him to be up there. Merc on a lap as well. The leader of the championship by a considerable margin, but he's got plenty of rivals throughout this field who will look to take it from him. And what can he do on his lap here? Staying out the way on the grass. Second apex of Spoon, hits that nicely. A bit like Lobster, maybe he'll get a bit of a slipstream here. Probably too far ahead at the Haas. 130R, we can take this flat in these cars very easily. And then Casio, the Casio triangle, last few corners of the track. Take the curb as much as you can, then you want to be to the right as much as possible to shorten the distance. What can a Merc do? P3. That's not bad. Yeah, my technical advisor tells me if a lot of the drivers struggling to complete laps, a lot of invalidation so far. It is a tough track to get right and to stay on track, so it's not a surprise. And the likes of Volt, Japella, Heatwave, King Trooper, we know how quick they are, and they're yet to set laps times. An antivirus as well, P9. He's gotten a few pole positions, a fair few in this tier. Only P9 at the moment. Heatwave on a lap. He might have got quite a nice toe there. I think he's on a lap. He might be on an in lap as well. Oh, he did spin, didn't he? So yeah, a bit of snap. Yeah, yellow flags you can see on the full track map. Electro Freeze, I think in the gravel in Sector 2. More yellows out by the marshals. We're on board with Volt at the moment on a hot lap. Full throttle from the looks of it, out of the S's. It is possible, as I said, you've just got to manage the gears through the S's. Down to third, and that should bring the car onto the curbing. Try to straighten up the car as much as possible on the braking for the hairpin turn 11. Sticks it to the right side of the track. Does get on the grass a little bit, and now Spoon down to fourth. He will decide fifth and then sixth. And then, as we say quite a lot, all about the low downforce. How low are your wings on these long straights? 130R. Again, this is easy flat. Nice and easy, especially for a driver of Volt's talents. And Casio's triangle, last few corners. Takes the curb more aggressively on the second. Japella up to P2, just behind Elusive. What can Volt do? He's P3. It's getting very close up front. And look at this. A lot of the drivers deciding to go out at the same time. This is I hope no one's on a lap through all this. A lot of the drivers going out at the same time. Yeah, let's stay on board with Bunny. I think if he hits this traffic, it's going to be worth seeing how these drivers can get out the way. Bad Bunny P7. Based on his time trial, he's a good qualifier here. Hasn't perhaps lived up to his ability in the tier so far. And we'll be looking to make this race count, to get some solid points. I think he got a podium earlier on in the season, but that's been about it for Bad Bunny. Takes the curbs nicely there, and I'm really... I want to see how he handles this, because he's going to hit so much traffic. I think it's bound to affect him one way or another. Wookie P8 on the mediums, I've just noticed, so he can definitely go quicker as well. There's a Red Bull in front that might need to get out the way. Merc does, maybe a little bit too late, but it looks alright. Gary now out the way, but Bunny invalidates. Might have distracted him a bit there. Unfortunate for Bunny, just... Oh, that looked close. Just run out a little bit against the flow of all these other drivers, really, and elusive on a lap as well. Might have got hurt a little bit by Gary. And there's a McLaren in the gravel. It's I think that's Heatwave. I might be wrong though. And elusive improves narrowly, slightly, but that's all you need. And he's 2/10 clear at the moment. At the moment, let's remember that. Right, who's on a lap? A few of them, isn't there? Antivirus. Yeah, there's a few in the first sector. Antivirus just under 6/10 up. As he heads into the final two corners, he'll be tracking, he'll be looking at around P5, P4. He's a man who is accustomed to pole positions. Can he get another one in Japan? Only 6th behind his rival, Merc. It's tight up, it is very tight up top. Not a surprise. We know how close Tier 2 is. Right, let's go on board with Goose Slayer. He's up. He is up. Goose Slayer is up, and he's been improved recently. The last few races really starting to show his true ability. And I've been told Merc quicker as well. But what can Goose do here? Goose provisional pole by only 5/10 of a second. Merc 2/10 up so far. He's gonna need to find a little bit more time through the final few corners. Takes the curb, take some more of the curb if you can here. And get to the right. Eke out the distance as short as possible. Merc P3. 5 drivers in the 26s. Superb performances so far. Right, Japella. Merc. Yeah, from the looks of it, it's Japella's on an outlap and everyone else returning to the pits. We should hopefully see some very intense final runs in the land of the rising sun. I've not asked yet, but if anyone is in Tier 2, let us know if it's any rain in the race. Wookie might be on a lap, actually, as well. He's done a 1:27.4 on the mediums. He's 3/10 up in the first sector. I think look out for the man named after the big, soft and cuddly Chewbacca as he heads out of the hairpin. You really feel the bumps at this track. You can see those tyres bubble up and down. Spoon now. What's the sector time going to be? The Williams ahead going slow. Wookie 7/10 up. He's in with a shot here. The Wookie takes the curbs really aggressively. It might have hurt the balance of the car, but he will still find time on the softs. What can the Wookie do? P3 just behind his teammates. But I think if he has time to do another run, he can gain time in that last bit of a track. Oh. And I have been told there is a chance of rain 20 minutes or so into the race. Stay tuned. This could get very spicy. I'm sure there's like a catchphrase for the Wookiee, but I can't remember what it was now. I might have to look it up. Yeah, let the Wookiee win. Let the Wookiee win. He's P3 currently, now P4. And only, well, how much is that? 500ths of a second separating 4 drivers around this 18 track behemoth, 18 corner behemoth. This is so close. Really, really close. Impressive stuff. I'm sort of glad I'm not out there for this one because of how tight this is. Every corner matters. Just realised Nuns isn't in today, is he? So I can't use my biblical quotes on this occasion. Right, Volt's gonna start his lap. The racing points going out closely. I have made a note of let the Wookiee win, so in my notes. Yeah, everyone's set a lap really so far, haven't they, apart from Heatwave. Oh, and Volt hitting the gravel, that should hurt his lap really. I mean, he's lost 2.5 tenths. He might be able to find that back, but yeah, he's aborted in a way. I think probably the right. If he's got enough fuel left, he might go through a final run. Yeah, Gary just avoided it, Mr. Gandalf. He's been killing zombies this week with me on Daisy. Maybe that'll help him drive around Suzuka. I'm not sure. Takes the curbs, I think, yeah, too aggressively there, and that's what happens. If you get on the curbs too much, the car will swing. And he's only P13, struggling at the moment to find time. He has found some time, but I'm not sure if it'll... He'll have to find more throughout the lap, but the field is so close. If he can find 2-3 tenths, he will shoot up the classification for qualifying. Let's stay on board with the Ferrari. Heatwave ahead of him. Matty retires. He's P12 at the moment. Maybe looking to start outside the top 10. And if it does rain, that fresh set of tyres will prove so useful. So useful. And now on the back straight, I guess. 130R again. Easy flat in these cars. Easy. And now this tough little corner. Nips at the curbs. That looked quite nice. I would say stick it to the right. Yeah, just slightly. P11. That's not bad starting position though, as long as you can stay out of trouble at the starts. Right. Merck seems the most advanced out of all. Oh, and Merck loses it on the exit of Spoon. He's in the wall, and that's the end of his lap. Commentator's curse, perhaps. As soon as we cut to him, he has the moment. I think Volt's still on a lap. Let's go to Volt. So Merck will not be able to improve. Japella finishes the session finishes at the moment P3. Can anyone knock him down? Volt, we know how quick he is from yesterday's Tier 3. Superb performance. I've been told Elusive is quicker as well, as he looks a challenge for the pole. What can Volt do? Across the line we go. Only P6. I think he did improve, but not enough. And the Wookiee is up in Sector 1 as well. Goose is finding time, but is it enough time? And he enters the pits. So Goose has set the benchmark. And if Elusive can find more than 5 thousandths, he will get pole. But the Wookiee has aborted as well. The Wookiee, he will not win on this occasion. Elusive might be the only one from what we can see who can challenge Goose Slayer. Can he slay the Goose with a little bit of ice? Final few corners. How late will you brake? How much of the curb will you take? Is aggressive on the curbs, and I think that's the way to go. Stick it to the right. Across the line we go. Elusive on pole by 1.5 tenths of a second. Superb lap. Elusive on pole in Japan. But stay tuned, really stay tuned. Especially if we have some rain. This is going to be one hell of a show in the land of Shinobi and Samurai, who will have the sharpest blade. We're going to find out. 27 laps. It's close up. It is close up front. About antivirus improved as well. 5/10 separating the top 7. Heatwave actually did very well to set a lap, to punch one in. He's P8. Allied Squire on his debut, I believe, P9 for the Racing Point team. Bad Bunny P10. He might have been expecting a little bit more and in a little bit of an awkward position, because really you want to be P11 rather than P10. But we'll see. ET Gamer, Gary King Trooper will get the advantage on the fresh tyres, and that really might be crucial. The softs do wear, especially if you've pushed them hard in qualifying. They should go off, I think, relatively quickly after 5-6 laps. And we're not sure when this rain's going to hit. And this, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I just hope we've had a few races this season where it's rained and there's been a safety car at the right time, and people have pitted under the safety car for inters. Hopefully, we can avoid that today. That would be nice indeed. 19 viewers so far. Very nice. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying commentating again, to be fair. It does look cloudy, doesn't it? And that suggests to me possibly it could rain quite early on in the race, perhaps. It's cloudy in Japan. We didn't see any safety cars yesterday in Tier 3, which was maybe a surprise to me. But Tier 3, to be fair to my comrades in Tier 3, I think Tier 3 is generally quite clean, good racing so far this season. And I don't remember seeing a safety car in Tier 3 for quite some time. So Tier 2, live up to the expectations, no safety cars maybe. There's a good chance we could see one. I mean, even in Tier 3 yesterday, we saw quite a few guys in the gravel and off track at various times, but the stewards deciding not to send out a safety car or a VSC. And either one of those can, make a big difference. It will be interesting to see from 10th down what tyres they'll start on, because they will be aware of the rain. And I think, for example, if they all go softs from 10th down, that will inform us really that the rain is going to come quite quickly. Beginning to ready up now. I can't wait for this. Let's, no disconnections, no red flags. Let's get a proper race. No USA short bullshit. Let's go. As I said, I've had to wait about 4 or 5 weeks to do and the lights are out and away we go, so I'm quite pumped for this, and hope you guys are too. Right, let's see what tyres these guys are going for. So some of them have gone for the mediums. King Trooper on the softs, Electro Freeze preferring the softs as well. No one on the hards, which makes perfect sense with this rain coming in. But as we know, yes, the rain is coming, but this track, you have to survive the first lap. We saw yellow flags yesterday on the first lap off the race start. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we see the same happen. It's such a tough first sector with full fuel as well, and hectic, intense. You want to stay on the racing line, and if anyone makes the slightest of mistakes, it can just cause absolute chaos, really. Let's see what these guys can do. Elusive out front. No worries. Yeah, keep an eye on the back of the field, I would say. Let me know who spins and stuff. Yeah. No worries. Yeah. I'll try to repeat what you say, but it might just sound like I'm ignoring you on a few occasions. Thank you, Ted. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Elusive, Goose, Japella, Wookie. Unless I'm wrong, I'm not... Someone can correct me. I don't think Elusive's won a race this season. I might be wrong, though. I think he's been on the podium maybe a few times. And Goose has been similar. So... they're going to need to handle the expectation. Goose looked very good in Britain Short, but then the disaster with the DSQ, he'll be looking to avenge that. And it will be good to see him win when the day comes. And we're approaching lights out in cloudy Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix. The lights approaching lights out. And are you ready? The lights are out and away we go in Japan. Elusive off the line and Goose has been done from third. That happened yesterday as well, and he's really lost time here. And Merck up to P3. I think he started P5. The clean side on the racing line. 1, 2, 3, and 5. Big advantage. Has been a crash behind. Trooper's gone off a fuel. There's a safety car already. We didn't last long. We didn't make it till the end of the S's. And who's lost out, I wonder? Wookie as well. He started P4. And Heatwave maybe, are they trying to sort themselves out? Wookie was P4. Goose was P2. Yeah, Antivirus losing out as well, and something happening here. Trooper losing out, Bunny losing out. Don't know what's going on here. Contact, I'll let the stewards decide that one. Shouldn't really, I don't know what the reasoning, probably illegal overtakes, but need to try to avoid overtaking and stuff like that through the field. Bit of a confusing one as his debris skitters off into the gravel. He'll have to repair his front wing, but he's at the back of the field anyway, so. And Matty, a few of them going off as well. They might get warnings for that, so they need to be a bit careful. But yeah, it was an interesting start. We saw it yesterday in Tier 3, really. I was third, and then Spider was P2, and I had a better start on the racing line. And I don't know, maybe it's something with that side of the track, because Goose had a hellish start. He was P2, dropped down to P4. And then Wookie was P4. He would have been behind the Goose on the right side of the track. He dropped down, I think 3 places? 3 or 2 places? 2 places. It's the leaderboard. Does what it always does. And glitch. It wouldn't be Tier 2 commentary without the glitch and leaderboard. Let me tell you. Yeah, it's easy to do. Exactly, 2 into 1 doesn't go. I mean, I remember doing a practice race here. I think it might, if anyone remembers long enough, I think it was the one of the first races I did, and I hit the back of Bad Bunny on the pit straight trying to get the toe, and it's raining. It's raining in Suzuka already. Is anyone going to risk the inters at this stage? It's come even sooner than we'd expected. Wow. This restart could get very dicey. Dice up the sushi. Here we go. This is just going to be about who survives this race, I think, more than anything. I mean, as my special advisor, Ted has informed me, I mean, that first lap did seem to be a lot of Constantina and just people off the racing line. And that can so easily cause collisions. I think, as I said earlier as well, if you get off the racing line through the S's, you can be so badly punished. And these guys, this is going to be so tough. They're going to have to explore this track. It's raining, drizzling. I'm not sure how bad the rain's going to get. That's the only thing. The safety car might stay out another lap. I've not been told anything on the screen. I think it's staying out. We've still got cars catching the train. Hopefully it's not going to get too wet before the restart, because I don't want to see a situation where everyone just pits on inters, because we want to have a little bit more skill deciding whether to pit or not. Although, as I say to people, if you're at the back and you don't expect, and you expect to struggle to get points, maybe the risk the Inters now. You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. We are going to see another lap. So there's a chance, people could pit for the Inters right at the end. Quite a few people, I think, looking forward to the rain in the chat. I really am. This is such a good scenario. And I think if we have to pit for Inters now, I don't think the Inters would get till the end. But we have no idea how long this rain's going to last into this Tier 2 DTF1 Suzuka Japan Grand Prix. 150 kilometers, 27 laps, as we mentioned, 18 corners for this track. If I do the math quickly, that's about, should I even try, 20 times 360, I don't know, 500 corners these guys have to survive throughout the course of this race. Hopefully the marshals will allow us to restart. Let's just stay out on the softs in these conditions. I mean, if everyone manages to not spin through the S's, they'll be doing well. I don't know about you, Ted, but I do expect to see some cars spinning in the S's in these conditions. I mean, it looks relatively, heavy now, and I would be advising the drivers keep an eye on the tyre temps, really, and use that to judge. And, you're going to have to warm up your tyres a lot now, but be careful not to overdo it because you will spin safety car in this lap. They might decide to pit some of them. I think it's a real possibility. But hopefully we'll see a few laps on the slicks. As I said, yeah. We'll keep an eye out. When is Antivirus going to go? He'll probably go on the exit unless he pits. Off he is now. He doesn't pit. Yeah, I can't see anyone entering. Good reset by Elusive. I said Antivirus because I'm used to him being in the Alfa Romeo. But and he's deep there. And Japella going to have a look. Unless you really want to risk everything. Too far off there. They're surviving at the moment. They're surviving. They're clinging to the track. The cars are on the absolute limits. And it looks like they might have all made it through. Unless I've jinxed them and someone's about to go off. I think that's possibly Electro Freeze at the back of the field off. Japella taking the grass. They're all taking the grass now. As we head out of the Degnas. And up the hill towards the hairpin. Japella is gaining and gaining and gaining, but he's too far back on this occasion. There's going to be many more. And Japella with a right jolly good exit there in the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri getting the tyres fired up. Wookie, let the Wookie overtake. He's past the Haas, vault down to P6. He might have got it done in the hairpin, quite possibly, from the looks of it. Yeah, Matty Jr. losing it at the back, I've been told. Japella, he is right on the back of Elusive Ice. He might have a look here. Is anyone going to pit at the end of his lap? Lap 4. And Elusive going deep. Elusive really struggling with the car and slight contact. Merck's going to have a look as well behind. There's contact. Constantina up. No one pits. It's hard for me to judge the conditions, but we are nearing the Inters definitely. And Merck having a look at Japella, he's not close enough to dive. It's a fast corner. You can't really stick it down there. There's a virtual safety car now. Yeah, Electrofreeze retired at the back of the field. What do you have any more information on that, Ted? It looks like I would say he spun it on the exit of 130R. Yeah. Yeah. Get the Inters on, Matty. Give it a go. I think with when the VSC came out, it just sort of skipped the back of the field, really. So it was too sort of, I think Pete... Has he not? Has he not? Maybe it's not as bad as I think, then. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I think you only really know when... Yeah. I've been told it looks... I've been told I've been told by my colleague Ted down at Japan, it does look bad at trackside. Sox gets a drive-through penalty for speeding, and there's a Ferrari off. It's Gary in the gravel. What's happened here for the Wizard? Oh, and someone else has gone off. The Wookiee in the gravel. Oh, he's got to be careful there. Oh, he'll get a penalty for that because that looked a little bit unsafe. And Antivirus back in the walls. He's bound to be frustrated with that. Yeah, I've been told the leaders are battling. Let's just stay with the leaders because this is the top 4 all battling. And there's Casio triangle of yellow flags. DRS, I think, has been enabled. So the stewards, maybe with a bit of a death wish, DRS is enabled on that pit straight. Do we really want to enable DRS? Why not? This is DTF1 Tier 2. We don't shy away from it, do we? Yellow flags on the pit straight. Antivirus, the AlphaTauri team deciding to retire the car. There might still be a safety car, so yeah, this is cool. Yeah, Gary and Wookiee on the inters. Keep an eye on them, Ted. See how they stick to the track. Elusive really struggling. It's Hal. I think ET must have had a moment. Yeah, his back tyres, all the tyres coated with the gravel mush. And the top 4 separated by 1.6 seconds. This is superb driving. This little train here. Is it not inters? Oh yeah, he's on slicks, isn't he? Yeah. Struggling on the slicks, perhaps. Yeah, we've got the gap to the leader enabled, so feel free to keep an eye on the inters. How will they perform in these conditions? Heading into the triangle. We should see DRS enable. And the AlphaTauri going to pit Japella. Merc diving in as well. So is Goose. Maybe Jeff's just told them all to pit and they've done it. Some of them staying out. That could hurt Elusive. It really could. Is anyone going to lose time in the pits? Merc has held a big amount here and he will have lost time from that. Goose will be at the end of the pit lane in the Williams. Will he gain time? I think he's ahead of Merc, you know. We're going to see on the exits. Japella still ahead. Goose ahead of Merc. Merc lost out. Volt gained as well on the leaders. Oh, and Lobster on the mediums. Haas, that's a big blunder there. Gunther Steiner, what are you doing? I think he's going to spin in a minute. Unless he can really slowly manage this. Wookiee getting past Trooper. Trooper exiting the pits behind the Star Wars character. Yeah, Lobster struggling. Not a surprise. And yellow flags ahead. It's a racing point. Allied Scryer on the grass. He'll rejoin safely though. Elusive still out front on the softs, and you've got to think he might have made a mistake there. Yeah, but I might be wrong, but I think you lose about 23, 25 seconds in the pit lane. And at the top, going through that final corner, the triangle, he did lose a lot of time. Elusive Hal saying Hal locking big time on the front right. And that's a sign of these troublesome conditions. And I do believe, I think Elusive got a penalty upon entering the pit lane. And you saw it there as well, Hal locking the fronts terribly into the pit lane. It's so easy to do when the conditions are like this. Japella's got him. Will it get worse for Elusive Ice? Yeah, it was okay, wasn't it? Who's that? Yellow flags. Oh, and what the hell has happened there? King Trooper. I wonder how he's done that. Oh, and another one! 130R is killing them here in Japan. Yeah, I think that's what it was. As a virtual safety car now. 130R. I've seen the AI do it. in an old F1 2017 race. The AI couldn't handle 130R, and it's a sign, it's a trouble corner. You can take it flat in the dry, but you cannot in these conditions. You've got to change up the gears. It's a tough one to take, though. Wow, virtual for now. Yeah, quite possibly as well. If they've not warmed up the tyres, a struggle. Wookiee drive-through, wasn't it? And Heatwave and Volt going at it. The two Americans and the McLaren get in past. ET's lost it as well. This is not a surprise. They're all over the place in Japan as the rain begins to fall. It's a tough track as it is, and the rain only amplifying the toughness of these conditions. As I said earlier, it is in the dry anyway, but it really is a battle for survival here around the bends of Suzuka. Japella will feel comfortable out front. Was that out of 130R as well? Yeah, Heatwave struggling out of 130R, I've been told. And Heatwave again struggling out on traction. And Volt's pitting. Did he have wing damage or is it wet tyres? Not sure. Yeah. We'll keep watching him and we'll see. Oh, was it a drive-through? No. It is, okay. Yeah, drive-through. Oh, and Bad Bunny and Hal, we rejoin the action as it gets rather spicy. Through turn 1, entering the S's. Heatwave's lost it. Kept it going though, hasn't he? He's done well to save it a few times. Oh. Ooh, I thought Japella had lost it for a second with the track map. Yeah, so slide. It's slidey anyway in the dry, and it's even more slidey. Oh, and Heatwave locking. Yeah, he's really struggling. I don't know what his... Maybe it's the car setup, possibly, as well. I think he does do no traction, so that would be partly why as well. Yeah, yellow flags. I think that's Lobster in the S's. Heatwave struggling again. In Spoon. Again, it looked like he's really... He's doing a tremendous job, to give him credit, to keep it on the track. Because the balance of that McLaren is all over the place. Oh, and again, oh, whoa, he's gonna hit the barrier hard! Oh, God. And he's managed... He did well not to retire that. I was expecting a retirement. Oh, and again, oh, he's sliding it there. Yeah, to give him credit, I mean, it looks like he's not doing very well, but I don't know what his setup is. But he's doing a great job. He's saved it so many times in the race. Oh, and again. Soaring like Fernando Alonso in a 2006 Renault. Really. I want to stay on board with him just to catch these saves. Really. Oh, and again. Oh, yeah. Oh, luckily he didn't hit the Wookiee. The Wookiee, I think, would have grabbed him and shook him around for that. Yeah, so Heatwave, after all those saves, finally loses the car on the exit of the S's. That's easily done. It's easily done in the dry. Even more easy in these conditions. The gap out front is about 2 seconds. The top 4 are being separated a little bit more now by these conditions, although Merc is on the back of Goose, but is he close enough? It's hard to overtake here in the dry, and they're not going to get DRS. So it could be a battle of mistakes, and ET and Gary going at it in the battle between the McLarens. McLaren P9, P11. Oh, and ET hitting the wall out of the S's. McLaren and Ferrari, all of P9, P10, P11, P12, battling for the lower end of the points. They're close in real life, and they're close in DTF1 as well. Let's keep an eye on this. I think out front, the gaps are sort of stabilised. There's a Merc on the back of Gusev. I think Merc must have lost it a little bit turn 1 because that gap's now increased. But Heatwave versus the Wizard. Yeah. Yeah, we've seen Heatwave struggling. You're right, Ted. I think if Gary can just stay on the back of him and force a mistake, he should be able to get past. Wookie pits of these guys gaining a place. I think just keep going in this race, because even if you're far back, you never know if there's a safety car, and I think we're bound to see some people spin. Heatwave, I think he got on the curb a bit there, but didn't go off. I want to get in a bit of a snap there. Is Gary going to go for it? Go for it, Gary. He's gone for it. And he had to, really, because he had the greater momentum. And he had to get it done, you feel, if Heatwave is struggling. And Mr. Gandalf. Oh, up to P8. Up to P8 as Heatwave struggling. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go back to the leaders now, and I was told by Ted, my special advisor for this Grand Prix, that Gooslayer and Merck struggling really to keep with the front two in these wet conditions. It does remind me slightly of, I think it was Netherlands, where I think Goose had a bit of a dodgy restart, to be fair to him. But I think he was sort of first before the restart in Netherlands, and he sort of fell back a bit in the wet conditions, so struggling perhaps in these wet conditions with a setup or whatever it is. Yeah, penalty as well. So Merck will be P3 at the moment based on penalties. Someone we've not really mentioned, well, we've mentioned him a few times, Bad Bunny, through the carnage. He's pitted twice actually, so he's done very well. P5 with Hal, P6 actually. Hal doing a good job. Could be done. Why do you guys do this to me? As soon as I cut to you and start complimenting you, you spin and you promote the idea of the commentator's curse. But he's kept it going as Hal, and as a Ferrari off, and yeah, Trooper went off and taken to the cut-off road into the pit lane. I think he avoided a penalty for that as well, which is good because he was going rather slowly. But yeah, Hal doing a good job in P6 actually. I think he could be on for his best finish of the season in Tier 2 if he keeps this going, the Frenchman. Yeah. Not a surprise, out front Japella extending his lead. He's a great driver and showing his class in these tough Japanese conditions for the AlphaTauri team, filling in for Jones Gang. Jones Gang, the new team principal. I think it's his first race as the team principal for AlphaTauri. And they traded Merck out. Can't remember who for, but Merck returning to Red Bull. And maybe Jones Gang not too impressed with Merck's performance at the junior team. He's back at the main team now. It's P4 at the moment, whilst Jones Gang's replacement for this Grand Prix is P1. But I think Merck's in a good position anyway if he keeps it going, and top 4 or top 3 if he can get it will just allow him to stretch out his lead in the driver's stand-in, which is already, I think he's about 60 something points clear, as I'm told Heatwave and the Wookiee battling further back. But yeah, Merck, you know, he just needs solid points finishes. I mean, it's nice if he can win, but you know, we've got Trooper speeds up now in Tier 3, Jones Gang and Gooslayer and Antivirus all tightly knit, or tight together, second to about 7th in the championship. And Merck about 60-70 points ahead, so Merck just needs those guys to continue taking points off each other and keep getting these top 5, top 4, top 3 finishes, and I think he'll have the championship. Really, it's all about patience. I mean, Elusive's got a 5-second penalty as well. At the moment, Merck will be outside of that, but again, top 4 finish will be good for him. He's not, Bunny's far enough back that he's not really got any pressure from behind Merck, so just get Just navigate yourself through the race if you can. And you're looking good, my friend, for the championship. I think they lifted a bit into 130i. You will need to do that in these inter conditions, as we mentioned. I think the drivers have come to terms with the conditions, really. Although Wookie's struggling. He's pitting again, is he? He doesn't have wing damage, does he? Because I think he's pitted seems to have pitted a... Well, I think he had a drive-through earlier, but I think he's putting inters on again. Strange one. Oh, yeah, strange one. Maybe he's just thought, I'm in traffic behind Heatwave. I'm going to struggle maybe to get past and get the undercut. Yeah. Possibly, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, we have no idea how long the inters really last here, so... It's a fair point. I think as well, I think he might... I mean, he's behind ET now, but I think he did it to maybe get in the free air. Possibly as well, but I might be wrong. Yeah, Japella really is putting on a masterclass in these conditions. Still stretching out the lead, and it's yellow flags Matty in the grass and up against the F1 2020 official video game. Available now, all available retailers board, advertising board. And he will be on his way to, unfortunately, be getting lapped. I believe he got front wing damage as well, as E.T. and Wookie battling as well. We'll keep an eye on these two, but we'll go back to Japella to see how easily he will get past the lapped car. Matty will be alright. Yeah, he does. He'll stick here though, Matty. So I think he'll do alright there. And Wookie close to the back of ET. He's going to get a little bit of downforce loss from being so close. Yeah, Wookie might get this done out the corner. Oh! Too close to the right on that occasion. Did he get wing damage? He might be alright. It's hard to tell with that one. Elusive getting past Matty as well. Only 13 runners remaining. Didn't get damage. Yeah, he sort of nicked the wall. I think on simulation it could have been a lot worse, but reduced damage, more forgiving. So gets away with it. Goose Slayer still ahead of Merc. Yeah. He might even retire. Hopefully he'll keep going, but yeah, retires. I think it's worth just trying to keep going though. I mean, we've got 12 people left, so if we see another sort of 2 retirements, and everyone who finishes will get points, so never give up. Wookie's still behind ET. I think that's the closest battle. I think unfortunately they have sort of all spaced themselves out now, so... Sector 1 yellow flag. Yeah, must be. Wookie close to the back of ET. He gets a good run at him, really, on that straight, but he's never close enough into 130R to properly challenge. He's going to have to look for it again on the pit straight, maximise the exit. I'm not sure he has, but ET's struggling. But is he too far back? You're not going to get DRS. You're not going to get any help from DRS. He's too far back, isn't he? Yet? It is tough to, as I said, it's tough to overtake here, even in the dry. So, oh, and is he on the inside? Go on, side by side contact. Yeah, getting dicey. Let's go to the leaders because Merc looked close. Goose struggling. Elusive pit, so we might start to see some of them coming for inters. Goose is going to pit. Merc stays out. Wookie's still behind ET. ET doing a good job to keep the Wookie from the planet Kashyyyk behind. Yeah. It's a good idea. I think, as I said, you just have to try to maximise your exit as much as possible, I think. Oh, God, Spoon on the exit of Spoon. I think that looked fair from what I saw. I'm not sure when he got it, but ET, I think, has got damage to the left of his front wing, actually, so he's got it done. Bad Bunny now P3. I think we'll see everyone pit again for another set of inters. Yeah. Goose on fresh tyres there, so he should pull away, I would expect. Yeah, Wookie really lost time doing that, actually. Heatwave's pitted and he's come out 8 seconds behind Wookie there. Yeah. Japella and Merck pitting as elusive. If Hal doesn't pit, he is going to hit the traffic. Yeah, Bad Bunny in the box as well. A lovely shot here through the first corner. Yeah, they're all pitting now. Elusive, he pitted last lap. And he has benefited big time from that. Look at that, and Goose Slayer and Merck. And Merck still behind Goose. Not by much, but it's enough. And Japella now 11 seconds in front of Elusive. As we said earlier, sublime performance by Japella. He's putting on a real masterclass in these intermediate conditions for the rest of Tier 2. To enjoy or envy him for, really. Yeah, we've got to remember anyway, if Merck keeps it clean, he will be third based on Goose's penalties. Heatwave's got it back together, I would say now. He's closing up on the Ferrari of Gary. 9 laps to go. As we've said, we've seen the mistakes quieten down, but we could easily see someone go off when it's like this. Gary on the grass a little bit there as well. The rain continuing to pour around the bridge and throughout the track. This track, the only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar. Yeah, is he close enough? I think the only way, he is gaining on him now a bit, isn't he? At the end of the straight, but I think Merck just, if he's going to get past, yeah, a lot of speed through the corner nearly caused him to connect with the back of a Goose, and if there had been contact, it might have sent them both spinning. Yeah, I think if Merck's going to get past Goose, he's going to have to get a much better exit out of one of these corners and rely on Goose making a mistake, really. But I mean, if he just keeps pressurising Goose, stay on the back of him, it is possible. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely hard to follow in conditions like this. And it is at this track anyway, I think, even in the dry. If there's ET pits. Yeah, Heatwave still behind Gary as well. Unfortunately, as we've said, they've all sort of separated out. I think that's the thing about this track, though. It is about mistakes more than anything, because you've got to work hard to overtake here, really. Goose a little bit wobbly mid-corner as he tries to navigate the two apexes. Again, Merck, has Merck got him here? Merck looking good on the straight. He's going to attack, attack, attack. Around the outside we go. But Goose had the inside covered. No way past for Merck on that occasion. But he's getting closer. He's got a taste of Goose now. Can he slay him on the next lap? Both Merck a little bit wobbly now. Do you think the rain's getting heavier? Any chance of wet tyres, Ted? Yeah. So you never know. I've been told by Ted there is a chance it is getting towards wet conditions, wet tyres. It does look heavier, but as we always say, it's really hard for us to tell on commentary. You know, you've got to trust the drivers to make the right decisions. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. In these conditions as well, deploying the energy pivotal, I mean, it's quite easy to regen, to recover the energy in these conditions, because obviously the braking distances are longer and you're on brake more. But let's run through the order. Japella out front, looking really quite comfortable so far, but we don't want to jinx anyone, do we? Elusive P2 got a good gap to Goose, and he did serve his penalty, so that's not a factor anymore, really, is it? And Goose P3, Merck again. He is gaining on him at the end of the straight, but not close enough. And I think really, if Goose can just deploy the energy he has sensibly, he should be all right, really. Bad Bunny, good job from him. P5, Hal, good job as well. P6, Volt further back. P7. Gary P8 looking to bring home some points for Ferrari. Might be more trouble at Ferrari. Another tough day for them. The spells not quite working their magic for this race. Heatwave P9. He's recovered nicely, saving some spins. Can he get past Gary in these closing stages? Wookie been through the pit lane a few times. P10. He's got the pace to, if he really gets it going, maybe to challenge Heatwaving Gary. Lobster P11. He's far back, his Lobster, but if he can stay ahead of ET, and you never know if someone spins or DNFs ahead, might nick points. 13 seconds worth of penalties though, as Ted mentioned, so that would see him drop behind ET. But we'll see what the Haas team principal can do, what these guys can do. About 6 more laps are left. I wish we had another 27 really, so I could keep up commentating ET off the road. I don't know whether that was to let Japella pass or whether he just lost it. Bit of a weird place to let the race leader through, but Japella ahead of the McLaren for now. Merck about 8/10 behind. Where is it? About 9/10 now behind Goose, so he might just even back off, and I don't know how many warnings he has, but you know, he doesn't really need to overtake him necessarily. Yeah, Ted tells me Merck probably doesn't have the pace to catch Elusive, even if he does get past, so yeah, I mean, get past if you can, but it's not, you know, yeah, it's not worth risking being it. But Merck, you learn, Ted. Yeah, the more you do commentary, I do seem to have a strange power of cursing drivers. So Merck will now have to get past Goose because he's got a 3-second penalty. He's going to have to get it done on the track. There's no easy way out now, and he's dropping back a bit on yellow flags. It's a McLaren. It's Heatwave. Sideways and Wookie. Oh! Maybe should have just reversed, or well, it's hard to reverse sometimes when you're using manual because you've got to get in the right gear. But a little bit of movements made that a difficult one maybe for the Wookiee to judge. I think he avoided any wing damage. Rookie, though. Does Heatwave have damage? Does Heatwave have damage? Because if Heatwave does... Oh, Lobster's quite far back, though. But if Lobster can... Yeah, I mean, if Lobster can really get a move on, he maybe could get past Heatwave, but he could have too many penalties as well, but we'll see. I think Drapella's passed Lobster in terms of blue flags. Merc isn't close enough to challenge. Goosey's close here, though. We've seen him close here on a few occasions. Not quite. So Gary will be safe in 8th, which I think kind of rhymes. Unintentional. Yeah, the flags again. It's ET this time. The McLaren's really struggling in these conditions. Maybe it's a problem with that car overall. So Lobster will be safe from him. How far? How much is the gap to Heatwave, really? That's the question. 23 seconds. If Lobster can get a move on, Heatwave struggling through 130R. Should really get a penalty for that. I don't know if he did or not. There's a McLaren off again. Heatwave's going to keep it going, is he? Okay. Interesting. He might be alright, actually. We're going to have to see how good of a driver Lobster is in these closing laps. ET off again here. I'm not... How's he ended up over here? Right in the centre of Spoon. And the Williams gets past. He must have spun it, I presume, just sort of entering the corner and just completely lost it. To the left. Yeah, Merc really close. He's done well there on the first apex. He's widened the corner, a little bit slippy, but I think Goose struggling as well. Still slippy. Is that enough? He needs to outdrag the Williams. Red Bull versus Williams. He's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. Too far back. Virtual safety car. It's a McLaren. Is anyone going to decide to pit? Probably not worth it. Possibly. If you've got the gap, you could. I think everyone's tyres, so it's probably not really worth it. Yeah. Final few laps. I think the interesting one to watch is Lobster and Heatwave. I think Lobster got a drive through earlier for speeding under the VSC. And, you know, if he hadn't gotten that, he would have been much closer. P11. It would be nice to see Lobster bring some points home for himself as well as Haas. The VSC's still out, so the stewards having to clear ET, wasn't it, from the track. Green again here. Is anyone going to benefit off the restarts? Don't think so. Fastest lap of the race so far is Merckx. So we'll get an extra point for that, which again is vital for his championship campaign to continue as it is high flying. Yeah, Lobster about 19.5 behind. I think you feel he maybe is a little bit too far back. If Heatwave can just manage the car through these corners, and yeah, Lobster picking up another penalty, so he's gonna have to rely upon Heatwave making a big mistake, you'd have to say, to get that 10th place. 11 drivers remaining, 6 have left us. Who will miss out on points? Will we see anyone else fall victim to Suzuka? Merck getting on the curb there and nearly loses it completely. Did well to save it. You want to avoid the curbs here, really. Oh, you're getting close to that one as well. If you get on the curbs too much here, you're in for a spin. Not on that one, but through the S's. Those curbs can be so lethal, can really upset the balance of the car. I think Bad Bunny's got decent pace actually behind them, but with that 9 seconds, a bit too much of a gap. Japella again out front, 18 seconds, a commanding margin really for the Dane. really, I mean, to be fair to him, he's been on another level this race, really. Started P3, so he made up the places, and looks like he's going to win at the moment. 2 more laps, and Volt's challenging the back of Hal. These 6th, 7th, and 8th do seem to have closed up. Hal going off the track. Yeah. What's going to hurt Lobster as well is Lobster's behind the leader, so he's going to finish as the leader finishes. So I don't think he'll be able to catch Heatwave based on that. The gap has fallen to Heatwave, but I just don't think it's enough for the Haas driver. There's Volt in the other Haas. Yeah, maybe got on the curb a little bit too much. And again, we've seen how hard it is to overtake in these conditions on the pit straight. Yeah. How? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if Hal can hold off Volt, I think I'd probably give driver of the day to him. Probably him or Japella. But we don't really like giving it to the race winner, so. But yeah. Yeah, Ted mentioning Goose Slayer as well for holding back Merc throughout the course of the race, which is a fair point as well. Handling that pressure. Oh, is Heatwave? Heatwave's pitted, as he is. Well, unless is he wanting to give Lobster the points? I don't know, but must be, because that's a weird one otherwise. If it's Lobster crossed the line, I'm not. Oh no. Okay, we're still racing. So yeah, that's my mistake. So yeah, I mean, yeah. 13 if Heatwave gets within 13 seconds of Lobster, no points for Lobster. I think he's gonna get it. Really, I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one to pit on the final lap. I can't help but think Heatwave's decided to be nice and maybe let Lobster have that. I don't know, but yeah, he can feel free to do it. Yeah, rain getting heavier. Yeah, it does look bad, doesn't it, really? Yeah. Absolutely. Good performances from the drivers. Japella, can he survive 130R? He has a little lift, I think. Now about 2 more corners to go. And as he has done throughout this race, he's going to manage it superbly. And Japella dominating the field by 21 seconds. The AlphaTauri get the win in Japan. And now, can Merc do anything? Can Goose make it through 130R? He does. Stays in 8th gear, stays in the highest gear to minimise the wheel spin, to keep the revs low. And Merc, they've got the same amount of penalties. And Goose Slayer will take home a well-deserved podium, holding off Merc. Yeah, Volt and Hal still battling. And even Gary behind. Gary from the back. Volt's got the traction out the corner. Is he going to go for it? 130R. I think he backed off, but it's hard to tell. And wide lines taken through the corner. And Volt. Oh, and Hal deep there. If Volt can get a good exit. Probably maybe a little bit too far back. But battling at the end here. It's Hal P6, Volt P7, Gary P8. And Wookie should be P9. Yeah, he will be P9 because Lobster P10 for Sox. First points of the season, I do believe, in these tricky conditions. We did say just keep going and see what happens. And Lobster rewarded in these challenging conditions with his first points finish of the season, which is always good to see drivers get points on the board. Driver of the day, the game says Hal. I think I would agree with that, gaining 9 places. I think him and Bunny really seemed to just survive, and, you know, suddenly they were P5, P6 and did well to hold on to those positions. Didn't make any sort of mistakes or spins from the looks of it, from memory. Yeah, I mean, Merck will... I mean, I think Merck will lose about 2 points to Goose Slayer in the championship. But he will extend his lead on King Trooper, his closest rival. And I think it's 6 rounds to go, isn't it? So Merck looking in very good shape to win the championship tier 2. As I said, he just needs to keep getting these top 4, top 5 finishes. Really. Yeah, Monaco next, and who knows what's going to happen in Monaco. That's bound to be a real show, I think. If you thought this was, you know, spins and stuff, you know, and front wings, debris flying, I can't wait for Monaco to commentate on that. Hopefully they'll make it a night race, like we did in Apex as well, because I think Monaco looks really quite nice at night, so I think it's worth doing. Or do tier 2 in the day and then do tier 1 at night or something like that. Perhaps. I don't know how it affects the tyres. Might make them a bit colder, but maybe not a massive difference. You can overtake at Monaco, but I think you have to put a lot of trust in the driver you're battling, basically, really. But a really good race today. I'd like to thank all my viewers for joining me. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed commentating on this race. As always, it flew by, and it was a fun one to commentate on. And thanks. You won't be able to hear him because he unfortunately couldn't connect to the broadcast. But thank you for my special advisor, as I've called him, Mr. Ghost Rider, for providing some technical insights throughout the race and qualifying session. But yeah, we'll see you in a week's time for Monaco. God bless, take care, and see you soon, I hope. Bye for now.